here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen after a 3-1 win over Ferris State, and we will take some questions.
Yeah, Coach, I guess would you mind starting out with a statement on this weekend and how you guys had fared to open the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously really, really proud of our guys. Obviously, it's a long time coming, a lot of work that goes in, starting with some of these guys. Last year, believing in the program, wanting to be here. For the returning guys, the spring they had, for our guys, summer, and coming in a very short amount of time, getting a group that didn't really know each other much about each other to become a team and a family very quickly. I think they earn the right to have a weekend like this. Doesn't necessarily guarantee it for you, but they earn the right to do it. So happy for them, and obviously just for our university and for supporters and administration and everybody. I mean, obviously a great turnout from our student body, which I think meant the world to us. One of the things we've said a lot in building this is we will not forget the people that are supporting right now. We know where it's going. Like, we have no doubt where this thing is going, and it's going to obviously take some time, but the people that are on board right now and the people that believe and the people that support, I know it means the world to the guys sitting in that locker room, and we just got to keep building on that.
4 goals in 15 minutes last night, and then you come back and score 2 goals and clinch it tonight in the last 3 minutes. What's the resiliency of this team like in the early going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been good in that we've had to go through so many different situations. Like, you're down twice last night. You have to come back. You're down going into the third period. So now you've done, like, every time you take something, you put it in the bank, right? So you're down going into the third period. We've been here before, boys. Like, and last night was we find a way to get the win. They make it close. We have to kill 5. We have to go 5-on-6. We score a shorthanded goal. Tonight, you score 15 seconds into the game, and it was a tight game. I mean, we had some chances, but what we loved tonight was we challenged our guys to defend better. We didn't give up much. Like, we didn't, not shots, but more importantly, like, scoring chances. We didn't give up many at all, quality scoring chances. Obviously, we'd like to have been better offensively and produce more. Yes, that's something we'll continue to work on, but it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a pretty game, and you got to find different ways to win games. So you're up 1-0 going to the third period, and you've got to find a way to close the team out. And the sequence that leads to their power play and it winds up in the back of our net, we very easily could have let that get away from it. The empty net goal that was about to be that gets called back, which and now you got to kill. You're still 5-on-6, and you fight through that. And again, I mean, how many shot blocks we had in that last 3 minutes? How many different guys, it's hard to even remember because every single guy stared it down and blocked it. We never let it get to our net. Obviously, an unbelievable weekend by Drobes and commitment by him. And then, just like last night, Helgi has second, third, fourth effort, gets a puck out and scores the empty netter. And those are moments. Like, that's you work so hard. These guys work so hard as players. Like, they train all summer. They're not normal college students. Like, they act different. They and that's nothing against a normal college student, but like they, the time and the commitment and the effort they put in, like, you do it for those moments with the guys sitting in that room, and that's what makes college athletics special. So it's a moment they won't forget.
One thing that stood out to me tonight, and I think it was kind of a same thing yesterday, is the fire and the chippiness of the program, and is that kind of reassuring to see that?
I mean, that's the expectation.
Right.
Like, that's again what we've wanted from the very beginning. That's just what we have to be. There's got to be swagger. There's got to be belief. We know for a little bit here we're going to have to punch up a little bit, like with the inexperience and the youth we have on this team. But the fire in that room and the fire in those guys and the feeling on the bench and the feeling in that locker room is we know the right pieces are in there. Like, that's not to say we've got anything figured out and we've got a ton of stuff to clean up, and we got to get a lot better. We got to get a lot better, and we got to keep adding to this thing, but it starts with people, and we believe in the people.
You talked yesterday about your team's comfort and control even when they were trailing in the game. It felt like a similar sort of control from your guys in the 7 minutes between the game-tying goal and the game-winning goal. Who's kind of leading that charge for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing is it's a committee of guys. I mean, there's freshmen, there's upperclassmen, there's, obviously it's nice when your goalie's got a calming presence in the back, which I thought Drobes had all night. But, man, like, it seems like it's a different guy, and different guys giving us a really good voice. And I think there's a really good trust where, guys are willing and able to speak up and speak clearly and command because they know that the rest of the guys trust them. And it's been a bunch of different guys in a bunch of different moments, and that's what's been the best part about it.
You mentioned shot blocking. Something that kind of stood out was Vladislav Lukashevich, just 6 blocks tonight. I mean, how much does that help you guys? Even strength, penalty kill, regardless of the situation, he was out there putting his body on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that there's a student athlete in the country that's gone through what Vladdy went through to get here. Someday maybe that'll be a future story, but like, you can't imagine what that kid went through to be here and be part of this. And be how long he had to be off the ice, stranded in a foreign country, and all these things. And man, that kid, like, again, you'll say it about a lot of the guys, but he's a dog. Like, there is so much fight and passion in that kid, and he's soft spoken, but like, you're in a foxhole, that's the guy you want with you, and that was why we brought him here. We believe in him, and obviously in some big moments he's come up and showed that.
You mentioned the game was really tight through, most of it, outside of that first 16 seconds when Stupka scores. What are you saying to your team? What are the guys saying on the bench to try and maybe push yourselves a little bit further, try and get some momentum built for you guys? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, at this time of the year, is you're trying to not insert yourself unless absolutely needed. Maybe find some things, little details that you could help guys out on, but. Again, I think similar to last night, like, what we love about this group is it's coming from them, and it has to come from them. Like, and you like the fact that it's coming from them so early, but I just think there's just a really good belief, swagger, feel that, these guys believe. And part of it might be naivety of just young and just haven't been in it. And like, they expect for good things to happen. That's something that needed to change in this program. Like, it needed to change. Like, there's too much good here to feel like it's not going to go. And I think these guys believe it's going to go. That doesn't guarantee you anything, but it's a good feel down there.
So, Coach, you have 14 underclassmen on your team right now, and you're here off to a 2-0 start, freshmen and sophomores. What's your outlook on the future of this program with such a strong start with a relatively younger group of guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of twofold. Obviously, our big thing is, like, no different than last night. It's like, okay, how do we get better for tomorrow night? And, now it's like, all right, how do we get better for what we know is going to be a really good RPI team next week? And that starts with taking care of ourselves tomorrow and a good Monday. So, like, that's where we have to narrow the focus down to that. But obviously, in a leadership position of the program, I said it first interview I did when taking the job, like, there's got to be an unwavering belief. There's got to be a steadiness from the top, and that's on me, that's on us as a staff to know, like, we have no doubt where this is going. We got to speak that into existence, and we got to back it up. We got to back it up with our work. We got to back it up with the time and effort we put in these guys and their development and the relationships, and I think that's what's so cool about, the job that Troy and Leo and Nizy do is, like, man, like, they've got such a good balance of, like, the guys know they care about them, but they put the time in. Like, these guys are here all day, every day. They're on the road. They're in rinks. They're doing it. And, like, I think that shows. And I think our guys feel that. We have again, our level of belief couldn't be any higher. I mean, you get out on the road and you see some of the future of what we got coming here. You sit in that room and you feel those guys' energy. Like I said, we are nowhere close to where we need to be and nowhere close to where we're going to be. But there's also, like I said, that unwavering belief, and our guys feel that.
We're here with Kocha Delic after Miami's 3-1 win over Ferris State, and we'll take some questions.
Yeah, first off, good win. Good weekend. I guess take us back to that goal. It looked like it was a rebound. Kind of take us through that sequence and what you saw there.
Yeah, Ilya and G had a really great forecheck on their two low guys. We managed to win that battle. They kind of got it up to the point. Quinny made a good low play, moving to the middle, and I just kind of happened to be in front of the net, had a little bit of time and space, and then was able to put the puck in the back of the net. Obviously kind of a big goal for us, so was really pumped to get that one for the guys.
Can you kind of summarize the weekend, starting off 2-0, getting off on the right foot? What's the mindset right now for you guys, and how you guys are able to kind of use this going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I believe I said it to Mr. Shriver when I first met him. Obviously, we got a lot of new guys. I kind of mentioned to him, like, I'm not used to losing. I don't like losing, and I didn't come here to plan on losing. So we're going to try and win every single game that we can. Obviously, starting with 2 is really huge for us, huge for the momentum, and we're just going to keep going every single weekend trying to get wins.
A youthful program right now. but it seems like it's in a good way. You guys are fiery. Can you talk about what that fire is all about? The chippiness this past weekend.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of guys that came from a lot of different backgrounds, and we've been here for 6 weeks training every single day as hard as we can. And I think kind of just the brotherhood that brings, right? Guys come to work every single day. We compete hard against each other, so you can only kind of imagine when you have a different opponent to play against, not playing against your brother. And I think a lot of guys that came here have that chip on their shoulder. I certainly have one on mine. I know a lot of guys in that room have a chip on their shoulder to prove something to themselves, to their teammates, and to everybody else. And I think we're kind of just playing off that and using that energy to push us forward here.
Kocha, when you made the decision to play in the CHL, you probably thought at the time that would mean you wouldn't get to play collegiately, right? But what made you eventually decide that this is the route for you, and now having attended classes and gone through training camp, and now you've got a weekend of college hockey under your belt? What's this experience been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty crazy. I mean, you're 16 years old when you sign your OHL contract, and it's kind of like your NCAA. You're not going to school anymore, right? And in Canada, I grew up in Ottawa, so I grew up watching the 67s. That was always kind of a big thing for me, was I wanted to play in the CHL. And then obviously going from there, kind of last year when there started being talks about the rules being changed and stuff, I thought it was a huge opportunity, because as I got older in hockey and seen kind of the opportunities that Division I college hockey has, where you get your education, you get to play the highest level of hockey against some of the best players, in the country and in Canada as well, I think it was kind of a pretty easy decision. And then, obviously I had conversations with Miami, and kind of right from the get-go, it was a pretty easy decision to come here. And then, yeah, it's been a bit of an adjustment, but not so much. In junior, I tried to stay on top of my school, so I've done a decent amount of credits while I was playing in Sudbury in the OHL. So it's been a bit of an adjustment, just making sure I'm getting all my work and stuff done. But I've definitely been able to manage it, and all the guys that are returning have been helping me out as well. So it's been really good.
I want to talk about your line, you and Ilya and Mateo. What makes you guys work so well together?
Yeah, I think we all just compete, and I don't think it's just us three. I think it's throughout our whole lineup. Today, honestly, I think me, Ilya, and Giampa, we could have definitely played a much better first two periods. I think we were pretty flat as a line, but then the third period came around, and we just kind of said to each other, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna show kind of what we can do. Obviously, we kind of got lucky and got rewarded with a goal there, which was huge for us. But yeah, definitely we can come out a bit stronger in our first two periods. But if we keep playing like that third period, I think we'll have success.
Curious what your thoughts were on the attendance this weekend, obviously the whiteout yesterday and the attendance tonight. Just from your experience, how does that compare to all the other places you played?
Yeah, it was awesome. I've been fortunate enough to play in a lot of big tournaments, whether it was in junior or representing Team Canada, which has obviously been pretty special. But I think once you kind of throw in the student section there and how passionate everybody is, it's a really crazy environment. I got my parents and my little brother here, and after the first game, the whiteout game on Friday, they were like, wow, this is pretty special, when you got your peers kind of supporting you and cheering you on, and they get pretty rowdy over there. So it's been really fun. Yeah.
Coach, what was it like going from a player's perspective, going from that offensive explosion last night to what it was like going back to the locker room and after those first and second periods? What was it like communicating with the team of what you had to do and what needed to change from last night in order to get this win?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of leaders in our team. I know Donnie said it earlier in his interview a couple weeks ago. We got a lot of leaders, and there was a lot of guys in the room that kind of stepped up. Obviously we got off to a good start with Stupka scoring that goal early, which was huge. And then, like I mentioned, we kind of got a little bit flat, a little bit complacent maybe, but guys were picking each other up the whole time on the bench, in the room, and we kind of just kept fighting, and then we ended up getting rewarded, and obviously a huge sweep for us for the first weekend.